John took some curves, a little sharper than probably necessary, and the glasses then fell onto the floor. But when I opened my door to get out, they then fell onto the concrete. And,
shattered. So the short version is he broke them.
I did not break them.
This video is kind of talking about Dirt Road Men and like who we are and what it's about. Trying to get you to sing.
Way marginally better than any of our guys.
Remington Arms was filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Call it 8 for me, 9 or 10 for you.
Yeah, 9 or 10.
Okay, I think we got a thumbnail.
Alright.
That's also going to be the first thing they see, so that'll be great. So, Zach and Jake here for Dirt Road Men. At this point, we have so many whiskey reviews, this one might be like 3 weeks out.
That's alright.
Like, no matter what other videos we shoot one of these, and we don't always shoot the same kind of other videos. So, like, sometimes it's cigar video, sometimes it's gun video, sometimes it's current events. Sometimes we'll do all of them in a day, but rarely, because it takes a couple hours.
That just means I can actually open this bottle.
Yeah. So, here, today we're reviewing Henry McKenna 10-year single barrel, bottled in bond. I know, that's a lot of stuff. But, we also wanted to go over what bottled in bond means, so we'll get into that a little more. We also got some nifty new glasses, actual whiskey glasses.
Yeah.
Glencairns. You want to tell a story of why we have new glasses?
Well, we're transporting our glasses last time we were shooting back, and they were in a sack. And we have since upgraded to a box. Well, John took some curves, a little sharper than probably necessary, and the glasses then fell onto the floor. But when I opened my door to get out, they then fell onto the concrete. And,
shattered. So the short version is he broke them.
I did not break them.
You may not have been responsible for them breaking, but you caused the action that caused them to break.
I opened the door to get out.
Yes! Should have stayed in the truck.
I should have stayed in the truck.
But this is the first time we haven't poured the whiskey before we started the video. I just realized that.
That's alright. I'm not.
So I think our best bet, since we're going to do a comparison and talk about bottled in bond, is actually put the McKenna in one glass and the Jim Beam in the other.
I am
for this video.
Okay with that.
And we do have Def Seth, if you want to say hello.
Hello.
Back on camera. More than one person's drinking out of it, so. Yeah.
Sure.
So, did you want to give them a little backstory on Henry McKenna? Because this has a pretty awesome story to go with it.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. In the 1837, Henry McKenna came from Ireland to the United States, and he had already was making whiskey in Ireland, and so he went to Kentucky and tried some bourbon. I'm gonna have a drink first.
But you're not even drinking the bourbon you're talking about. You gotta sip this stuff. It's gonna mess up your taste profile now.
Don't matter. It don't matter. Well, he discovered bourbon. Not like he didn't found it.
Discovered bourbon.
It was like, going into a liquor store and like, here, yeah, you should try this. It's called bourbon. And
yeah,
he was like,
people were already making bourbon. He didn't like find a magical barrel in the mountains. God, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but
I would live on that mountain.
I mean, we're already like almost 100 years later than Beam, so
yeah.
But he thought it was some really great stuff, and he decided he was going to make his own using his own recipes that he brought with him.
Yeah, 'cause he was really into Irish whiskey before he came over, right? He was an Irish guy.
Yeah.
Thus, McKenna.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I messed up your role, but I felt that was relevant.
Yeah, he's a Mick.
We didn't say that. We're Irish. Or at least I am. I've got some. I don't know what the hell it is.
My dad's a Mick.
Okay, well, there you go. Your uncle's even named Mick.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he was making his own whiskey, and he was insisted no other way than to store them in oak barrels, which at the time wasn't really common.
Yeah, he's one of the like reasons that it is now law that you have to age bourbon a certain way.
And as for McKenna now, he day it.
That's a great note. It literally says he did in like all caps in the book. Nah, he was around in 1837. He's still kicking. This is his life juice. Anyway, go ahead.
Squeezed straight from his liver. But with the single barrel, each bottle is filled entirely from one barrel, and it's 10-year-old. It says aged for 40 Kentucky seasons. Yeah,
that pretty well covers that. Let's give it a taste before we go on to what the hell bottled and bond means.
Okay, let's get back over.
So, on our tasting notes, I don't know if we actually wrote any down.
I wrote a couple.
We do have this nifty new deductive tasting book from the Whiskey Smiths. May or may not be associated with our upcoming product release. But
either way, though, definitely if you're into whiskey or whiskey stuff, like
I definitely recommend trying them. The Whiskey Vault guys recommend them, which is honestly where I heard of them, but they're not associated. Like
no.
They're not owned by the same people or anything. But it literally like you get a sheet with all these different boxes you can check and just all kinds of stuff. And there's several sheets in there, so you can go through like 10 or more maybe.
And that is whiskeysmiths.com, and they got really cool stuff.
And we're not getting paid to plug them. They're just
they blew my mind.
May or may not be associated with a product release. So I'm not getting the banana note that I freaked out and picked out of this the other day. It was crazy. I've never pulled banana out of any whiskey before, but don't do that. Stop it! We have a 4! Fine, I'll taste it so you can taste it. Jesus.
So far, I think that's the only thing I found I don't like about the Glencairn, is that you just feel like you have to be... It's taking forever. Just get it to my mouth.
Yeah, the Glencairn is like the official whiskey glass, if you will. It's the first glass developed specifically for the purpose of tasting whiskey. It makes the sense, easier to pick out. It's just all around better, and it kind of looks cool. But you also have the stem, so you don't have to, like, your hand doesn't heat up the glass. You can just hold it by the stem. You can definitely see it's got some pretty solid legs. It's pretty sugary.
It's not as
bad as you remember?
No, not nearly.
No, it's not bad. It's got a classic bourbon flavor. Now, I pulled this because Daniel, the sommelier on the Whiskey Vault, this is his go-to, like, bourbon. I was disappointed. It's not bad, but it's not good either. It's just, it's what did I say? It's the mediocrest bourbon I have ever tasted.
With our mediocrest cigar.
We have these, we had a really basic, the mediocrest cigar ever. So we had these side by side, right? This bottle is like 4 years old. We'll get into that more later, but about 4-year-old bourbon.
Yeah.
This is a 10-year single barrel bourbon. Everything about this bottle says that it should be the better of the two. But I like this one better, and I know you do too. We talked about this.
Jim Beam.
Yeah, he's representing the Jim Beam brand. Also, more promotion we don't get paid for. If we get sponsors, hopefully they just like stumble onto our videos and they're like, man, we gotta kick them something. Look at how much they're plugging our stuff, especially Jim Beam. Like we made a whole video like the case for Jim Beam when we talked about bourbon. By the way, I didn't introduce Steve, and I feel like he's upset with me about it.
He's gonna eat our cigars.
Yeah. Steve always parties harder than everybody. We will remember to bring him a glass eventually. But yeah, I mean, it's under $30 for this bottle here. It's under $30 in Texas, where the Whiskey Vault guys are. I don't know how much it is everywhere else. That's just the two places I know you can get it for about that price. For the money you're going to spend on this, there's probably a dozen other bourbons I would tell you to pick. Including this one.
Yeah, that was 20.
Now, obviously, taste is subjective. The Whiskey Vault guys love this bourbon. We do not. So, did you want to tell them what bottled and bond means? Because that's something special about both these bottles that we wanted to bring up.
I think I can remember, but just in case. Bottled and bond is, it has to be made during one distillation season by one distillery, stored in a federally bonded and overseen warehouse, supervised, if you will, for at least 4 years, and it has to be bottled at 100 proof or 50%.
Yeah, exactly. So anything you see that's bonded is going to be 100 proof right away. And it's at least 4 years old, if you don't see an age statement, like with this. This is 10 years old. And let me do a taste by comparison. After telling you to not take a drink like 4 times. See, I still like that one way better. It's not even necessarily smoother. There's just more going on in that glass. I get like nutty notes. I get the normal classic bourbon notes, but it's lighter on the caramel a little bit. There's not as much woody barrel flavor in that one as that one, but I like the woody barrel flavor. Def Seth, didn't you want to try this?
Yes, sir.
Do not drop it.
If you drop it, we're going to kick your nads into your throat. Def Seth is not much of a whiskey drinker, so I'm interested to see what he thinks about this.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good!
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. So yeah, on Henry McKenna, Bottled and Bond, I think this bottle might stick around almost as long as the Weller has. We have had this since like one of our first videos. We filmed a review for it that died, and we've never reviewed it again, despite the fact that it's still this full. I mean, we didn't much care for this bourbon here, and there's about as much in that bottle after a couple days as there is in this one after months. So that should tell you what we think of that. But we'll give it a fair shake in a video and actually like go through it at some point when I have no other choice. So, but yeah, that's kind of, that explains hopefully to you guys what Bottled and Bond means. It gives you our general review of Henry McKenna. Like I said, the classic bourbon flavors, but you can pick out. I picked out banana on the scent, but otherwise I really didn't pick out anything particularly special from that glass, like I did with this one, which is the Jim Beam. So, out of 10, I would give this a 5.5. And that half point is literally because I pulled something out of it on the nose that I've never pulled out of a bourbon before. The aftertaste does last for a while, which is nice. I like that. But yeah, 5.5 for me. What do you think?
I don't know.
You really want to like it.
I
don't you?
really do, and it's
It's one of those
has some
things
nice-
where like I could warm up to it,
yeah,
but I just for the money we spent on this, we could have got Larceny, we could have got Wild Turkey 101, we could have probably found some Jefferson for like $1 or $2 more.
found that around $30.
Yeah,
Could have got like 2 bottles of regular Jim Beam.
yeah. I mean, we could have got that. It's just
Well, I got
there's
that.
so many what I would call better options, but I do like the concept of bottled and bond, and the Jim Beam bonded is good. So I definitely think we're gonna hit some more bottled and bond bourbons as we go. But yeah, that's kind of my opinion. So if we can squeeze a rating out of you, we can wrap this up.
I'll agree with you. 5.5 for now.
Yeah, so there you go. 5.5 out of 10 stars. Henry McKenna, the mediocrest bourbon you will ever have.
No, not the mediocrest.
It's the most normal without being bad. What's the more mediocrest bourbon? That's bad.
That's not bad. It's just meh.
Okay. Anyway, I'm still gonna stick by that statement. He can think differently. But yeah, I think that's all from us today. And now I get to cheer with the bourbon I like less. So cheers from Dirt Road Men.
It's got a nice ring to it.